Hello there, YouTube. It is I, WillDog44 here. And just recently, I started to play some D&D. I'm gonna say, I am. It was a lot of fun. And this here character is Wafflehelm Styooff. He is a rogue halfling, and halfling. I don't really like to call him a halfling. I just call him a hobbit because that's what he is. That's what halflings are hobbits. So he's a rogue hobbit. Yes. Anyway, Wafflehelm Styooff here. He is he's like 3 feet tall, and he's got 2 daggers and 2 short swords. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you about his background. His background is, are you ready for it? All right. Wafflehelm Styooff. He is he was born into a very poor family, the Styooff family, obviously, and is very poor and has 45 family members in the same household, and they're very poor. Everyone has to do what they can to help out, to help support the household. And how Wafflehelm Styooff does it is he goes out to a whole bunch of different towns, and he steals money, food, and items so that he can sell to get more money. So and that's what he steals. He brings all that stuff back to to the household, and no one else knows that he's thieving. So that's a secret. Mm. Anyway, one day, uh, there was a book in a language in which he did not understand that he took from somebody. And as he was running away from that person, they uh, they were chasing after him and yelling, being like, "Hey!" and stuff like that. So anyway, he almost died because he heard Wafflehelm heard a whistling coming towards him, and he looked back, hoping that it wasn't animals, because he's absolutely terrified of animals, absolutely terrified. He looked back, and there was a an arrow coming at him. Just went right past him, and it grazed him. And now he has a scar there, and I think I probably, yep, I did. I forgot to draw in the scar. God damn. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you about the time I played as Wafflehelm Styooff for the very first time. Well, it was a grand old day out in the middle of places in Greenest, and we come across, we, like my entire party gathers together. It would be a a a a druid half elf, a cleric dwarf, a barbarian bird person, and a ranger cat person, and a bard hobbit, and also a sorcerer dragonborn. And out of those people, there are three who scared the living shit out of me, uh, out of Waffle, because he's absolutely terrified of animals. It would be the dragonborn, the bird person, and the cat person. The bird person and the cat person, they obviously have species names, but I forgot them. But anyway, we're at Greenest. There's fog, and there's the entire town was being raided. Everyone's like, you know what, man? Let's go save these people. I'm just like, I better be getting paid for this. Like, goddamn. Well, anyway, we go in, and it is revealed to be that the doing of a blue dragon and a blue dragon. So anyway, we're going in there. We're fighting off a whole bunch of kobolds and cultists and saving people. I mean, like technically, when we got to like we were dropping kobolds left and right, and then we went into the sewer. And as we're going through the sewer, there was just a swarm of rats, and it just like completely annihilated our team. Well, just one person. But anyway, it was just such a confined space that we could barely do anything. So it got our druid, like, the rats ate up like one entire, like, the entire calf, where you can start to see the bone of our druid halfling. And it'd just be like, it just like flesh just eaten off, the entire boot was gone. And you could see the bone. Anyway, we eventually did get to to defeat the, what do you call it? Defeat the rats. That's what you call them, the rats. Anyway, we did eventually defeat the rats. So then, and then the cleric decided, like, hey, I'm gonna heal you up, and boom, she's all healed now. But you can still see the bone, because like that ain't healing. But it's like enough hit points because she was unconscious. So we got her, we stabilized her, we gave her a couple hit points, and then boom, we're going. When we come to the end of the sewers, which comes to a river, and then there would be some kobolds and cultists. We go out there, we just drop them. We just drop them. And anyway, we're thinking like, hey, we need to get this druid's legs fixed. Like, you're limping, and like your bone is showing. So anyway, we decide to go up to the temple, and the temple is, oh my, it's got like 30 kobolds in the front. It's got like 10 in the back. So then we're just like, you know what? Let's like at the front they're trying to ram the door. At the back they're trying to light the door. So we decide to go around to the back because there's less people, and then we could defeat them and then get in. Anyway, so what we're doing, we get to the back. We're strategizing what we should do, and I'm just like, well, why don't you guys like all like uh charge up on one side, and I go to the other side as Wafflehelm Styooff. Go to the other side, and I silently sneak up behind them, and I start dropping them. So that's what we did. I went back there, and I just started dropping people left and right. I got about like 5 people out of the 10, and the entire other group got about like 10. I mean, no, 5 about. So MVP right here. It's me. Well, anyway, we finished dropping all the people, all the kobolds, and then we try to say, hey man, let us in, and then the priest is like, okay, come on in. And then we were there to get the druid's leg fixed, but we completely forgot about it, because straight away the druid was like, oh man, you gotta help us. And then we're like, all right. So we gather, and there's like about like 50 townsfolk inside the church, fearing for their lives, because there's a whole bunch of kobolds out front still trying to knock down the door. Anyway, we tell them to go to the sewer, so then we convince them to all just be quiet and go to this safe place. I mean, and they go, and we don't follow because we're gonna get into a fight. So anyway, and then eventually we're like trying to hold up this door, and it just kept on trying to smash down the door. And then there's some slivers, like holes, that the little kobolds tried to get through, and we just like slamming them, and eventually the door came down. So then all of them started to come inward. And oh boy, was that a fight. 30 of them coming after us. We got about like, I don't know, about like a good 20 or so. And after we killed like the really big guy, all the others was like, oh man, we gotta get out of here. And then they ran. So that was definitely good. So anyway, after we did that fight, we started to collect a whole bunch of loot from these bodies. Mostly gold. I like the gold better. But then the cleric dwarf decided to grab a whole bunch of the weapons so he could melt them down and form new weapons. Because, yes. Well, anyway. So. And then we go out there and we're heading back to the safe haven. And along our way, we notice that there's a pile of dead people. We go over there and we figure out that it's the townsfolk that was in the church. We just killed them all because because we stayed back rather than to go with them and guard them. But anyway, the cleric he goes on and sees if they're dead, and one of them just has has a spear wraith, like they're all just like mangled. He goes to see if they're dead. He's like, this guy has a spear through his neck. Yeah, he's dead. But then there's me. I'm just like, all right, do you guys have any money on you? No. Oh man, they don't have any money because they're peasants. God damn. I was really looking forward to that money. And anyway, that's where we left off. So have a good old time, and subscribe for more. I mean, like, you don't have to, but just see you next time.